Welcome back to AV Veterans Talk. We're continuing our conversation with this week's guests, Dennis Anderson and Juan Blanco. So we're back here at the AV Veterans Talk with Dennis Anderson and Juan Blanco, and talking about the Gen-Her and the Crazy Autos Veterans, program on Korea. And Jen is kind of an interesting guy. I love Jen, and so passionate. His son is in the Marine Corps, is that correct? Was in the Marine Corps, and serving our country. And boy, I tell you what, whenever there's an event to celebrate America or something to do with veterans, he's always there, always reaching out.
Well, next week's 4th of July.
Yes, 4th of July, yeah. And he's good. Yeah, it's coming fast. I know because of the heat. I know when the 4th of July is coming around every year, so because of the heat.
And the AV, how can you miss it, right?
Yeah, so anyway, so last night when we were over there, great turnout. I was really happy to see such a great turnout in Korean War vets, because they call it the Forgotten War. Right?
Definitely.
So, and those of us that were raised on classic movies like Battle Hymn, Hudson, things like that, and you get a perspective.
Battle Circus with Humphrey Bogart.
Oh yeah,
Bridges of
Tokyo Re, yeah, and those movies. But they were just as classic as a lot of the World War II movies. But once again, the Forgotten War, and after those great pieces came out, you think, like, how can that war be forgotten? And we've had so many Korean vets. Once again, it wasn't the war on the big stage, I guess.
Right,
Is that the way we say that?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it a police action?
Well,
That's what they was labeling it.
It was Harry Truman brought the United Nations in on this. So we had British and Turks and Australians and many other nations sent delegations to help
Like
with this.
a global battle.
But it was because the Soviets had not been there to veto it in the Security Council that time. But that said, how did you end up, Juan, being such a help to Gen-Her?
Oh, well, it's kind of like an amazing story. I was working with another organization, and I came up with this thought about having because we have a lot of vets in the AV.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So this was a concept to have coffee in the morning to bring vets together. So I went to Gen-Her along with
Some other
guy. Yeah, okay.
another person, and we sat down with Jen and said, Jen, this was our concept. Now, I had just met Jen, but his restaurant, everything about Jen is pro-American military. He has been our greatest supporter, and he said, sure. What day would you like to do it? So I said, well, what day can we do it? And he said, well, we have Tuesdays and we have Thursdays in the morning. It's kind of slow, so if you want to pick one of those 2 days, so we picked Tuesdays. And started sitting down and offering coffee for veterans, coffee, tea, all of the things were free. Breakfast is totally half price for the vets. And it grew. This was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's taken some time, but it has grown. And the great thing about it is that the veterans who come in are developing. We have developed a family working towards this, a family of veterans in the AV. So our breakfast, these guys and gal, women.
That's all right.
I got it. I'm trying to get it straight.
All right.
Enjoy this breakfast and leave with a smile on their face. And as you know, we have enough controversies and bad times. So for 2 hours, we have a good time, and it relieves a lot of the tensions that we have during the course of the week.
And also hear about veteran-related issues from our electeds.
Correct.
If there's an election going on a nonpartisan basis, candidates can come in, lean in, have their say briefly, so long as they are respectful and stay on topic and don't make a nuisance of themselves.
Right.
But we have had great support, particularly Steve Knight's veteran representative, Christine Ward, has just done significant casework on behalf of veterans. So that's something that we have going. But Jen will also be at Lancaster Cemetery on the 4th of July.
Jen will be, yes.
Yeah.
And you know, the contrary. Oh, it's so problematic for me because I like to be with Jen. We do pancake breakfast, but the 4th of July happens to fall on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we don't
You
stop coffee for vets.
Yeah. So, which I totally get that. And the calendar is, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is. Dates fall when they fall. So, how long have you been doing coffee for vets over there?
I don't know, I would say 4 or 5 years.
5 years.
5 years?
Mhm.
See, that's great. And we were joking. I go like, gosh, you know, I was an Air Force guy, and getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning was really kind of alien to us. Okay, somebody did. No, that's not true. Of course,
I got to stay on air bases. They were nice.
Yeah, there you go. So, we just really are thankful that Jen is over there and a part of this community and is Veterans Outreach, and you guys, and obviously, you know, especially you, Juan, and stuff, you know, taking the lead on that and doing such great work because you are the quasi. The American Legion still exists. The VFW still exists, but their dynamics have changed over the years, and sometimes vets don't, you know, they still assimilate with those groups, but they're looking for a more casual facility to go to and a gathering of individuals that fits them better. It's hard to say.
The Legion and the VFW remain very important.
Sure, yeah.
It's because some people don't have a culture fit
Yeah.
with exactly who they are and what they do, and oftentimes it's generational. I know either organization would like to find a younger membership of the post 9/11s.
Right.
But one thing about the Legion, the VFW, Disabled American Veterans,
Sure.
they're needed in Washington, D.C. They're needed to lobby on the legislation. So the dues that go into the organization really support that effort.
Right, and as a Legionnaire myself,
Right.
you know, I see the paperwork that comes through there, and they're fighting on a national stage. You know, we look at the local aspect of it, and once again, when you get down to the grassroots, you know, it's the local groups that make a difference, but it all goes up the chain there. So we're going to take our second break here. When we come back, we'll kind of go off on another little part of this journey. Okay, so we'll be right back here at AV Veterans Talk. I'm Bob Alvis, and thanks for joining us for this segment of AV Veterans Talk.